The Art of the Donald is a new book about our president and his philosophy of life. Even the president endorsed the book on Twitter. Highly respected author Christopher Bedford just came out with the book, The Art of the Donald, Lessons from America's. Really good book. Joining us now is Christopher Bedford, author of The Art of the Donald and editor-in-chief at the Daily Caller News Foundation. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I know. I've had my Lady Liberty before. We're talking to our Rome team. There's no question, as you say, that Donald Trump was living the good life before he became president. And it's a lot harder now in the fishbowl. And he's actually almost being criticized for playing golf, as many presidents are. Tell us about what he needs to do in Washington to have his Art of the Donald good life continue.
Well, he needs to do what he's always done. So he's been underestimated when he first left the boroughs and came into Manhattan and said, I want to build glass skyscrapers instead of brick tenements. No one took him seriously until he started to beat them. And when he first entered public policy with rebuilding Woolman Ice Rink, Mayor Ed Koch of New York attacked him, and everyone laughed at him. And he absolutely dominated and became a force in New York politics. When he first entered Republican politics, it was the same thing, dismissed by everyone. But just through his entire life, he's always been underestimated, and no one takes you seriously until you win. So he has to get some of his legislation passed. He has to get more than just executive orders and more than just restructuring the U.S. government passed. And at that point, I think he can go back to living a little bit better of a life here in D.C.
In your book, you write about the rules learned from President Trump. One, if you're doing something new, the old rules don't apply. Here's a section of that rule that you wrote about. Trust yourself. Trust the people on the ground. Solicit opinion from every source and do what you know to be right. Don't apologize for it. Does he apply this rule? Sure sounds to me like he applies this rule.
He certainly does. He's a big break from maybe even just the previous Republican nominee, Mitt Romney. He ignored the pollsters. He solicited advice from experts everywhere, partially because he didn't have a stable of experts like usual nominees did. And he used that to win, and he, as you've seen, he very rarely apologizes.
You say that this is a book that people should read who don't like Donald Trump. Why?
He beat them all, and he won, and this is a book about lessons, and it's kind of a funny book, too. Lessons you can take from his life and his strategy to dominate, even if you're not president, to dominate in your local community, to do well with your family. He's a successful family man.
So even if you don't like it, you probably want to learn from it.
You do.
Okay.
You might do it again.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much, Christopher Bedford. The Art of the Donald, Lessons from America's Philosopher-in-Chief, and also editor-in-chief at the Daily Caller Foundation.
Thanks for having me.